Evening, welcome to Eating Plebian. Today it's a classic. It is baked cod loins with lemon and garlic. This one is simple, it's quick, relatively few ingredients, only takes 15 minutes in the oven. It's basically you mix up a few things, toss it on a tray, toss it in, you almost can't go wrong here. And it's just also just a classic dish to get into away from all of the takeout food and everything else. We've gone on about that quite a bit. Let's go on to the ingredients. Starting off on the tray that I've got lined with aluminum foil and a little bit of no stick spray, I've got 2 pounds of cod loins here. They don't have to be loins, they don't have to be cod. But the nice thing about cod is it tends to lend itself as like the one fish that even non-fish eaters will tend to at least try, because it is a very mild and flaky white fish. No bones really that you have to worry about, because those come out easy, and there's a myriad of different ways that you can prepare it. Moving on to the actual countertop, I have got 4 tablespoons of butter that have been melted in the microwave. I have 1 lemon that I've sliced up. We'll be using that to place on top of the fish, so it kind of acts as both a garnish and also a little bit of a lemon baster. I've got 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped and minced up parsley. I've got a little bit of ground paprika. I've got 1.5 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. That's from another lemon that I had. Some salt and pepper. Did I mention the paprika? Yes, okay. Well, I have now. Some Italian seasoning, and finally some more Italian seasoning, because I had 2 bottles and I just decided I'd bring it out. And don't mind my drink. Starting off with my fish is right here. I've gotten it nice and fresh from the fishmonger over at the grocery store. I'm going to very lightly salt this front and back, and primarily there's going to be a lot of other things that are going to be delivering salt, so there is no real reason to inundate this thing, because it's going to be seasoned well enough. So there's one side, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. Well, you know what, let me go ahead and add the pepper before I flip. So again, just quick runs over top. There we are. Add them a little bit so the stuff doesn't fall off. Over. And we go back to the salt again. And again, not a whole lot. Not this time. These aren't prime ribs that you're trying to dry brine. This is seasoning for seasoning's sake. So there we are. Pepper again. And we're going to move it off to the side for just a moment. What I have here is that 6 tablespoons of butter. You can use more or less depending on the amount of fish you have. Yes, this scales absolutely well. You want to use 1 pound. Fine, knock it back to 3 tablespoons and reduce your garlic and stuff a little bit. It's you know, your basic division when it comes to the amounts on the ingredients. The next thing I'm going to add is my garlic. Yes, that is a lot of garlic, but don't let it trouble your soul, because even if you're not that crazy about garlic, a lot of it is not going to make it over in onto your plate, because a lot of it's just going to go and end up at the bottom of the tray here. But we do want to flavor that butter really well. Now I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon of this lemon. And I have that on the inside. And I'm going to use about 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. About there. Okay. Start to get that in. Depending on the Italian seasoning you get, it could end up being, on the whole, in terms of its color, largely green or largely red or brown. but it really does not matter. So another quarter teaspoon of black pepper. That gets put in. Now we come back to our fish. I have a basting brush here, but I'm going to use it almost as much to scoop as I am to baste. I want to get a lot of that garlic, and I'm just going to dab that on. And as I said, you know, a lot of this garlic is going to end up on the bottom of the tray, but it's going to taste amazing. And two. This is a recipe that has been around probably ever since there's been fish. I've kind of modified it to suit my own tastes over the years. And if you want to modify it yourself, go right on ahead, because it's very easy to do. And there's really not a whole lot that you can do to this dish to really mess it up. Make sure the fish is fresh, you know, and that you're cooking it appropriately. And when you start getting to time, try to check it as frequently or as well as possible, because you don't want it to overcook. When fish overcooks, it starts to separate. So there's that, and the rest I'm simply going to pour in and around it. And I'm going to grab my tongs. I tested them out. Yes, they work. And I'm just going to move them around on the inside just to catch up on the backside some of the butter and garlic and lemon solution. Don't want to waste it. And I might have even done that one, but that's all right. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to space these out evenly so they can cook. So 15, 18 minutes, depends on your stove, but it's really not going to take much longer than that. I'm going to take some of my lemon pieces and put them on. Oop, that one had a... There. Now, that looks nice. We're going to be saving our fresh parsley and the ground paprika for garnish afterwards. You don't want to put the paprika on it beforehand, primarily because anytime that you cook with a lot of heat with paprika in a non-wet environment, meaning like a roasting or a baking, it really does darken it and turns it brown and loses its rather nice appearance. So that's why we'll just sprinkle it on very lightly after we pull it out of the stove. And it is now in there. And so now I'm going to set my timer to 13 minutes, something like that, and I'll check it at that point. All right, time travel. All right, it's been 18 minutes, and I have been checking on it periodically. It's the oven, if I didn't say it before, is set at 425 degrees. And what we are looking for is between 135 and 140. Look at that. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and check it. So this is my thickest one right here. I'm going to put that right in the middle. 129, 136, 140, 144. So yeah, we are right where we want to be. Everything is completely cooked. Now I'm going to dress these just a little bit. I have got a little bit of paprika. I'm just going to put the paprika on. Put a little more in here just so I can get it out. And with the way that the Italian seasoning has browned up itself, it kind of hides it a little bit. But I'm sure this is going to be fantastic. And another thing, you don't want to use smoked, I don't think. Smoked paprika, be a little overwhelming for very delicate tastes of fish. But I do also have my fresh parsley that I've chopped up. I'm just going to put these on here. I will put it on a serving dish. And so it can await also the rest of my dinner, which is burbling merrily along. There, that looks pretty enough. All right. I also took the time to whip myself up some homemade tartar sauce. And tartar sauce is not hard to make at all. You can find recipes for it all over, but basically it's just mayonnaise, relish, a tiny dash of cayenne pepper, lemon juice. I also like to put tarragon in mine sometimes, but that will go right along with this fish nicely. Let's go ahead and plate up. All right, so let's get this on here. So we know it's cooked well. It's not falling apart, which is what you would end up seeing if you had overcooked it. Sometimes you'll actually see the flakes literally fall away from each other. That happens quite a bit. But that's just a visual representation thing of what's going on. And it doesn't really hurt it unless you really char the stuff up. But you certainly don't want to undercook it. So there's that. Get back here. You're placed there for a reason. And this guy. And you know what I'm going to end up doing with a lot of this fish? I have got in mind some seafood stew as well, since it's already cooked over. I think that's going to work real well if I make the stew quickly. So I'm going to set this down. How are we? Yeah, I can move that now. This is going to be a great dinner. All right. Thanks once again for joining us here at Eating Plebian. Our cod with lemon and garlic is looking fantastic. We're going to be sitting down to eat this in just a minute. I hope this recipe helps you out. And if there's anything that you'd like to see me make, or there's something that you want me to run through culinarily speaking in terms of skills, drop a comment down either on my website or in the YouTube video app. I'd be happy to help and take a look into it. If you can, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, because a new channel like mine has a lot of hurdles in order to get his content out, and I'm doing this to actually help people because of the economy that we're in, and things aren't looking great right now. So the restaurant and the takeout expenses that a lot of people get, because they were simply, for reasons I have no idea why, were never taught. And to save a couple of bucks, or actually in a lot of cases a whole lot more, by learning how to eat really well at home, that is the successful determination that I'm looking for. Thanks once again for Eating Plebian. Have a good night.